Hey, we're Lane and we're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
I feel like style is, or fashion, is important in your band. So can you talk a little bit about that?
For sure, I think the aesthetic as a whole is really important to both of us. But as far as what we wear every day, it's kind of the same exact thing, and that's the, I guess that's the catch. I'm really into minimalism personally. I like a lot of minimalistic things.
Right.
So I kind of stick to what I like color scheme wise. I have 2 or 3 colors that I play with, but pretty much everything is plain and androgynous. But I definitely am into fashion. I didn't mean to do this, but now I'm kind of running with it.
Happens, and now it's cool.
I have them all over. But
there you go. Every outfit will be like that.
yeah, but I'm glad you think that, because we kind of just throw shit on.
Right.
But
Well, it looks like you guys do it on purpose. What about for you?
Minimalistic.
Yeah.
I have the same outfit 5 times over. I mean, minus this shirt,
all good.
you know.
Let's talk a little bit about what the in-between is.
the in between is basically, a lot of artists will do concept records. We're kind of trying to create a concept for the entire project. So
Okay.
the in between is a location I created in my head. It's kind of we both connected on the rainy forest feeling, and emotionally we both grew up in the forest, and so that's been a huge part of us emotionally.
Right.
So it's basically, if you pictured a futuristic city in a rainy forest in the northwest. But it's basically a location. We want the fans to be able to listen to music, look at the visuals, come to the show. We want everybody to feel like they can go to this space, this location.
Right.
And the idea of the in-between is, I think we're all in between something. We're in between pop and rock. You're in between relationships. You're in between life and death. You're in between feeling, anything really. We're all in between something and somewhere or the other. We don't fit in one area. We don't fit in another. And that idea is kind of what we wanted to run with. And it works in so many different mediums. We just felt like it was a cool way to tie everything together and create a place for everybody to go to.
So that's definitely something we're gonna be hearing a lot throughout the life of this project, right?
Yeah, especially live too. We want to incorporate that live as well. And then social, website, all that other stuff on media.
Right. Now, recently you guys dropped the music video for the second single, Good. Tell me about this single. What really inspired the track?
Well, it's kind of what I just said. I mean, I wrote the song about finding someone in loneliness. I felt so isolated and lonely, but realizing that other people feel that way as well, and meeting someone in that. You can be lonely, but you're lonely together. It's that kind of idea, and so I wrote it about a particular person who I felt understood that darkness that I was feeling, and we could sit in the darkness together,
And when you guys get together to write or create your music, how does that even work for you guys? Do you guys write together? Do you focus more on the lyrics and then he focus on the instrumentals? How does that work?
I think we do it different every time. Generally, he focuses on drums. Sometimes he comes up with synth parts or whatever. Sometimes he comes up with anything. I'll come up with drum parts sometimes. I write all the guitar parts, all the bass parts, the lyrics, melody, all of that. And then sometimes, it's different every time. It's so hard that's the hardest question we get, because it's so different. Sometimes I'll produce out a whole track by myself, bring it to them. Sometimes he'll bring me something and then I'll expand on it, or I'll bring him something and he'll expand on it. It's really just circumstance, if we feel inspired separately, we'll bring each other stuff, or if we are jamming and come up with something, then I'll take it home and write lyrics, top line it, whatever.
Jumping into the EP, how did you guys create this EP?
It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But it was also coming in from the single that we did with Somebody and all the other songs we've tracked.
Mm-hmm.
The EP was definitely, I felt like I've grown since the last time we were in the studio.
Okay.
The EP was a whole nother experience in itself. I felt like things were moving in a direction that sonically, aesthetically is something that we're slowly getting a grasp on. So it's the whole EP was just.
And the fact that it was harder for you this time around, was it because it was a new production that you guys were working on, or was it the fact that the producer was maybe doing things that you've never done before?
Our producer definitely pushed us for sure. He's always, trying to get the best out of what we can do. But definitely the hardest thing for me is playing something that is still exciting and something new, something that it's gonna captivate, you know, just like the other songs have.
Right.
And that's probably the hardest thing, is to keep it relevant and keep pushing it and keep, you know, releasing content, and what we play and the parts that we come up with within the new songs, we want that to evolve. We don't want it to be, you know, kind of the same. Like, I mean, we want to keep the same feel, you know, the same vibes, but we want it to get better. We hope that it brings in more people. Like, more people want to listen to it. It's more, I don't know, you can say poppy or catchy, you know, something that, you know, catches people's attention a little bit more.
Right. And lyrically, where were you at when writing the songs for this record?
I almost always start with guitar parts. So lyrically, I'm a guitar player first and foremost for anything.
Okay.
So the guitar parts are very heavy on the EP. Like, I'm very involved in all of that. So a lot of times my lyrics come phonetically first, because I kind of sing like a guitar player, and I played drums my whole life, so I kind of sing phonetically first.
Okay.
And then I usually say something and I realize what I'm saying, and I kind of build off it. But lyrically, I think it's all in the same vein as far as content-wise, of just feeling power in my own emotion and not being afraid of emotion, and finding confidence in that emotion, and being totally okay with feeling sad and realizing that it's okay to feel that. We can only feel that right now, so fucking feel it, you know? But yeah, I think I always have like a lot of sadness and a lot of confidence at the same time. I try and like always have a little bit of hope in everything, and I think lyrically the EP is pretty much that.
And with him, he mentioned his challenges on it. What kind of challenges did you face while recording or writing the record?
I don't know if it was any different than everything else. I mean, there's always a challenge. Every song is different. Every song is, you know. But Devin and I, the producer, we've been working together for years, so it comes pretty naturally for him and I to work together. But I think the challenges were more. It's you got to remind yourself not to get clouded by what is sometimes needed or expected from you, because I know every artist needs a song, you know, the song that's gonna, you know, and that's kind of like something you have to get rid of out of your mind. And we got really weird on one song and went super indie, and I was like lyrically kind of like tried to get super heady, and I think just my struggle was, do we have the song all the time? Like, what's the song, you know? And I got over it. I was like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, I'm just gonna make music. But I think that was probably the biggest struggle, and getting the production right, because I'm very particular and heavy in production.
Which
so
is good.
yeah.
Now, is there any specific music you were probably listening to help you during the process of the record, or are you one of those artists that tries not to listen to anything outside of your band when you're in the recording process?
No, I listen to tons of music. I think it's good to listen to all kinds of music, and not if I listen to one thing too much, I can hear it creeping into my music.
You're gonna start covering their songs.
Yeah. So I gotta pace myself and listen to the right music. But I listen to a lot of like Bjork and St. Vincent, like weird music, like art music, just because I like it. It's just so outside of what I would naturally do, and I like that. And especially I love listening to guitar tones, and St. Vincent's crazy. And, but yeah, I think I just try to listen to weird music, and I listen to a lot of pop music, and then I listen to a lot of weird music, because we kind of create, you know, that the in between of that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much what I listen to.
So how did you guys end up creating the music that you do with so many influence that you have like that? What is it about this genre?
For me, I don't know, I can't speak for him, but for me, I grew up playing in rock bands. I grew up playing a lot of instruments, like there are instruments everywhere, so I was really influenced by rhythm, and I took to the guitar super young, and I started writing before I could like look up covers. Like, I'd never played covers, I just made my own because I couldn't do that. So I think for me it was like I got really heavily influenced by a lot of rhythm, a lot of rock music, and the guitar parts in this style of music are very rhythmic, and the vocals are rhythmic, and the drums are simple but catchy and rhythmic. It's all very rhythmic stuff, but it still has that rock aspect, and it still has pop aspect, and it's melodic, and you know, I don't know, everything about it is just like makes sense to me. I don't know how to.
Right.
I wasn't attracted. I'm like, I'm gonna play that genre. It was just like, this is what I am. So yeah.
Now, is that the same story for you, or?
It's kind of just natural. It kind of like the way it makes you feel is like you can feel sad, you can feel happy, you can feel whatever you want. You know, I don't know. It's a lot of rhythmic too for me in this genre, and just like parts that are very simple but very tasty, and like everything about it, it just makes you feel good. It all has that same exact feel to it.
Right. Now, we've already heard 2 songs from you guys, so is that kind of the similar sound we're going to be listening to on this upcoming EP? I think Good is not on the EP, right?
No, it's not. It's not on the EP, but that's all right because it's out. So,
Right.
yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff in it that you'll recognize. But I think we went a little. It was a chance to get a little more heady because I'm like, lyrically, I like to think. You know, I like songs to make you think, and I think we did on particularly one song. We got a little weird, so there is like some indie music on it, you know. But I think we on the flip side, we also wrote a pretty pop song that has like a lot of like Michael Jackson groovy kind of stuff happening.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's what you can expect. There's a lot. I don't know what people are gonna expect, but it sounds like LAYNE. It's not any different than just an evolution of what you heard.
Right. And the EP is called Black Hills. Do you guys have like a release date scheduled for that, or is it something that's still in the works?
You want to answer that?
Yeah, it's we hate saying no. I mean, all we can say is soon, like
Right.
really, really soon. Hopefully, within the next couple months.
Okay. But regardless, you guys are done with the whole process.
Yeah, we're already on the next one. We're already working on the next one. Yeah.
Why do you guys do this?
Yeah, I know.
Just release,
No.
just do a double album. Just do.
I wish. I think I would do that, but I think the
Right.
people around me would be like, "You're dumb," like. But no, we got another one coming. So
Yeah.
so we're gonna get this one out, and then the next one's gonna be more conceptualized and
Right.
probably more of a statement.
Right.
But this one's cool. I'm excited.
Now talking about the people around you, you guys are your management is Dexstar.
Yeah.
Which is obviously everybody knows them for Blink 182. So how did a management like that get in contact with you guys, or how did you guys get in contact with them?
So we were working at the Madden Brothers studio, which they were in Good Charlotte. Our producer.
For the record?
No, so our producer that we work with now, he was working at the Madden Brothers spot at the time. He was just doing some work there. So we got to use the studio. So we would go in there all the time and track. And we were tracking in there, hanging out, and Danny, our manager at the time, was working with Good Charlotte. And he heard us in the studio. We weren't there, he heard us, but we were in tour. We were in Nashville.
Yeah.
And he heard us, called me, and flew out to Nashville to have coffee with me. So I was like, all right, this guy's cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I don't know. And then Danny actually moved to Dexstar after we started working with him. So we kind of got lucky and joined into the Dexstar team, but we actually met Danny before he was with Dexstar. So.
Any plans for some either one-off shows or maybe like a tour coming up?
Yeah, we got, I mean, once again, I don't have anything I can say that we have, but I know we have stuff coming down the pipeline. I think if you follow us on socials, it's like the best way to find out because we're good about announcing things. But we might do potentially something in New York. And then this fall, I'm almost certain we're going to be doing some stuff, but it's all to be announced. But it will happen. It's going to happen. I think if you just follow us on socials.